Hey, welcome back. Today I kind of wanted to talk about a little project of mine. It's just a new tab page that I've been working on for a bit, and it has some nice stuff that I really like, and it was super easy to make. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to get into. And just for a reference, here's what it looks like without any CSS at all. You can see it's a pretty straightforward layout. It's got that top header with the search bar above it, and then we've got our first big div here with a title that says consume, followed by some horizontal rules and some subcategories. We've got entertainment along with an RSS feed for that, same with YouTube and an RSS feed for what's happening in my feeds. And social, no RSS feeds here, just haven't set them up. And I've got some GNOME links because that stuff's interesting to me, especially the world of GNOME stuff. Their blog posts are something I read whenever they come out. I've got some news, just /Rs and BBC. I click that like once or twice a month tops. And some design things, and then over here I've got links to some of my local personal stuff, just little things that I'm working on. Nothing too exciting. Some of my GitHub stuff and some links to folders so that I don't have to type in or open a file browser to get to them, since I've always got a web browser open anyway. Some docs, which, last resort. If I can't figure something out, I'll definitely go and check the references, but that's always a last resort. And some fun utilities. This color project from Adobe is great. It lets you upload a picture and it'll create a color profile out of it, let you tweak that, adjust whether you want soft or warm or cool. Great stuff. Color Hacks also has some really useful things for colors, and I'm terrible at colors, so I usually just go and browse color and find something that looks kind of good and use that. I use this to get shades mostly, and then this is just linter, which I don't use a whole lot since I switched to brackets. It's got one built in that I use. And Fontello is for making icon fonts. That's an awesome resource. You should definitely check it out if you're interested in icon fonts for any of your projects. And then down at the bottom there's another big header that says weather, and that gets populated by a simple jQuery plugin that checks Yahoo weather based on your zip code or any other location information you want to feed it. So that's what's up there, and that's what it looks like with no CSS whatsoever. But here you can see once the style sheet is applied, it's a completely different sort of experience. These slide up and down. The RSS feeds come in on tooltips. Oh, and these icons, the little favicons coming up next, there's actually a Google service that'll go and fetch those. That was what this up here is doing. I found that excuse me. I think I found that on a post here at CSS Tricks, which is a great site if you're interested in doing anything like this. So definitely a good read, and usually learn stuff when I go there. Sometimes it gets a little whiny, but no big deal. Definitely fun and interesting most of the time. And then here's the example straight off of the Simple Weather JS plugin, and here's the plugin itself. But basically I just took the example, changed it to the things I wanted it to return, added my zip code, and called it in the HTML down here at the bottom. Oh, well, I made a div for it to populate when I call it. So it goes and, yeah, success function weather, and it'll populate, yeah, a div with the ID of weather down here. And that's how we end up with this nice little forecast. The icon, it's pretty weird. They only do the thumbnail for the current day, but not for tomorrow. And that's the only thing I've noticed that they don't have for both days. So that's kind of, well, obviously the current conditions too. You can't do that for tomorrow's current conditions because it's not tomorrow. But yeah, that's that, and that was just another real simple, like 5 minutes, 5 seconds, not too intensive. JavaScript isn't scary and definitely adds a lot to what you can do with yourself and your time and your projects. So if you are interested in it, I definitely suggest giving it a look. Some other stuff here. Yeah, this is just where I define all the fonts and lay out how I want the document to look, you know, change it from that bland listed items to this nice organized pair of boxes with sublists and fancy animations and pretty stuff. One thing I do kind of like and kind of don't like are the tooltips. Everything about how they work I do like, but on loading the page, because they're just inline HTML, I didn't do anything fancy. I didn't have them load on hover, although I did try that and found out that the service I'm using, feed2js, uses a command called document.write, which you can't call asynchronously because the browser doesn't know where to write the information that's being sent from the script. So wasn't able to just go in and make a simple fix of having this populated only when you hover the link, but when you load the page sometimes it can stutter while it pulls those. You might have seen that for a half a second there. It only showed one box, but once it gets cached, it's not a big deal. It's just the first time I open a new tab page in a while, whenever the cache expires, that it can take like a half second to populate. And yeah, I said the first thing I tried to fix that didn't really work. Another option might be to load all of these at the end of the document down here off screen somewhere, or you know, just off the page where you can't see them, have them displayed none. And then when you hover the element, have it copy that over to your little tooltip so that you can get the fast loading of not having to wait for those RSS feeds to get sent to another website, parsed, and then sent to you, and still have the nice, simple aspect of not having to parse the RSS yourself or try to figure out how to use some other jQuery plugin to do that. So those are things that are on the docket for future plans when I've got some time and some motivation to go in and change it. So basically never. It'll just end up in this pile of dead stuff over here. But yeah, the way the tooltips work is they're always there, and then what I do is when they're not hovered, well, first I style them like so. So you can see they're all here. I just give the div its own position, and I give it a little triangle using pseudo elements. You can see that in some of my other videos, a box shadow. Make it look nice, and then I set this little block here where all of the tooltips, when they're not being hovered, get set to be invisible, to not interact with the mouse cursor, and to be moved 200 pixels to the right and 40% of their height down. That's a rough estimate to try and get them centered on the link. And you can see that by giving them a transition property, when you change all of those aspects, it does it gradually over 0.2 seconds, and you just get this little effect of it sliding in and becoming opaque. And then when you go away, it goes away. But they're all clickable and interactive, so I can go here and check out Flight Gear 3.0, which is, it's pretty cool. It's like an open source flight simulator, and it looks like they've done a lot of really cool stuff with it, but you know, I'm on a pretty crappy laptop. I don't bother with most games, and this one looks like it would probably be pretty intense. I don't even have a joystick to thoroughly enjoy it with anyway. So yeah, I content myself with things like Snake and Tetris when I need to get my gaming fix. But yeah, that's basically it. I mean, there's some border radiuses, a little box shadow trick here to get that light right underneath the top border. I just use an inset box shadow of an RGBA value that's a mostly transparent white, and I think it creates a nice effect. Yeah, these just slide up and down. That's another transform on hover with a transition. And CSS is really powerful. It lets you do a lot with what would otherwise be a pretty austere and naked document. I mean, I think it really does a lot to pretty this up, but it doesn't take a whole lot of work to do it. So yeah, that's about what I know. And oh yeah, there is one other secret feature that I was working on. So this line here, it's an iframe that loads a page that it finds on localhost at port 1337, and to get that to load, we have this little messing around with Node here, we have this little thing using a plugin for Node called Componist, which lets you interface with MPD and then do things to it. All I have here is a real simple page that will print the status of what song you're listening to. So if I run it here, you'll see it'll say server running at, and then because it's so poorly designed, I've got to actually change the song before it'll notice it. And then here we go. We've got now playing by Yola Tango from the album, and that's all being served up by this short tiny little script here and a Node server. So yeah, if we copy the link address and paste it, we get to see this is literally all it serves is plain text. You can curl it as well, and you'll still get exactly the same thing. There's no formatting whatsoever, although you could do all of that. I'm just very lazy and very this is all very new to me and self-taught, so I take it piece by piece and learn what I can when I can, and that's just kind of how it goes. But yeah, that's my homepage and what I had to say today. Hope you enjoyed it. If not, oh well. And I guess I'll catch you next time, guys. Bye.